How old are you?
I just turned 20 like 1.5 week back.
That's fucking crazy.
It's like
Yeah.
second year of college or
Third year, fifth semester.
okay.
Before like Umbra, like throughout my first year and like first year, first and like 1.5 years, I was like a regular Web 2 dev. So during my first year, I had qualified for GSOC. So I really loved systems programming from like day one.
Did you guys expect to raise what was exactly going through the team's mind when you saw that you guys were trying to raise 750K from 750 it went to 1, 10 it went to 20 and all the way to 150 by the time you guys
Yeah.
stopped. So what was going through your mind? What was it like?
Honestly, like I'll be very honest about this one. And like our race had just started, and when we logged on to like the website to see what's happening, the website had crashed, and we were like, okay, something's like up.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of OnlyDevs podcast. Today we have with us Cal, co-founder of Umbra. Umbra they have done a lot of amazing things and they've been part of the news cycle in the past couple of days. Much more, especially because they raised $153 million when they set out to raise 750K. Or, this is a special story because these are all Super Team India members who submitted into Coliseum and completely turned around the course of their project in a matter of 4 months. So welcome to the show, Cal.
Thank you. Super glad to be here. Oh, I think I met both of you like guys at like OnlyDevs and Apex, but super glad to be here.
Amazing. We love to kick things off with how do you get into crypto, and when did you start doing crypto? You're pretty young for the audience, age is 20. So would love to know what was your origin story.
Right. So, I mean, I started crypto last year, I think around November. The thing was like there was Ethereum India at the time. So, from my university, like a lot of teams go out. So, a lot of my seniors were going for Ethereum India. And that time I had like zero idea about cryptography or crypto in general. I had just picked up the book Mastering Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, this is like some really interesting book. And I was just reading through it. So, that time Ethereum India's registration forms had come out. So, it was like 1.5 week before Ethereum India, and then we sort of had like registered for it and we had gotten through it. And that was like my first time learning anything related to blockchain. So it was like in those 2 weeks, we basically speed ran like mastering Bitcoin, a lot of books, so mastering Ethereum, things like that. So it was like I started off in Ethereum. I learned Solidity at the hackathon mostly. But we basically were like trying to build something pretty fun. Like we were at the time trying to book tickets over here for like a concert, and there was like a lot of black market ticket scalping going on. And we were like, this is so painful. So for the hackathon, we ended up building a product to fix that. So on the way, we picked up a lot of stuff. Like I picked up a lot of cryptography. We made use of this thing called zero knowledge proofs. At the time, I did not know too much about it, just how to write one. I did not know anything about it, but we built something out of it, and it ended up pretty good. We got a prize at the Ethereum India hackathon, and that was like I think the starting point of my like trajectory into crypto and like why I got into it. So after
Awesome.
Ethereum
This
India,
was around when?
this was last year, November, like 2024, November, December. So the Ethereum India hackathon was in December, and we had registered somewhere in November, as far as I remember. So we had attended the event at Bangalore, and from then I started thinking that okay, this could be like something I'm really interested in. It really called out like I just liked doing crypto. I liked doing cryptography. So then I started just going into it more. I first started going more into maths rather than dev. That's like sort of I guess unconventional if you can call it, but I just really like the maths. So I started reading a lot about it, and I started going more into cryptography than crypto dev. So it started like that. I started cryptography. I learned all these fundamentals of cryptography. I read like a few books and everything. I got into this field called MPC, and like I reached out for a research internship at IISc. And during the time I started like learning all about this MPC, crypto, Solana, Ethereum, what and like everything that's there out there in crypto. So while I was actually registering for my internship at IISc, I was actually in my room. Okay, so I was in my room and I was filling out the form, and like my co-founder, like now co-founder, that time roommate, he was just like, "What are you filling out?" And I was like, "I'm filling this out, this research internship for cryptography." And at the time, he had just spoken to my other co-founder, and they had spoken about this idea of building privacy on chain, and they were like, they had spoken about MPC. He had never spoken to me about it. And then when he saw me filling out the form, he's like, dude, we were talking about this idea that time, and I think this might be the same thing. Do you want to sort of like talk about it and like look at how things go? And then I got in touch with Crew, I got in touch with Pranay. We started discussing, and at the time I had zero Solana experience. So I actually started Solana Dev after they told me about the idea. So they told me that, okay, we want to build this out on Solana. And then I went back to my room and I was like, okay, time to learn Solana Dev. And then that's how I sort of started learning Solana. So I did Anchor first. I did a lot of the Solana docs, and that's pretty much how I started into crypto. A small bit of like Rust experience I'd gotten because I was trying to apply for Summer of Bitcoin as well. So there was this Bitcoin mining pool that I was contributing to called Braid Pool. So I was like an early contributor there, but then I sort of stopped contributing to focus on this. So that's sort of like how I got into crypto and Solana Dev itself.
Super interesting. And you mentioned in this journey, I'm sure you worked on more projects before this. I don't know, but you want to talk about them before you started to work on the privacy and Umbra?
Yes. So before like Umbra, like throughout my first year and like first and like 1.5 years, I was like a regular Web2 dev. So during my first year, I had qualified for GSOC. So I really loved systems programming from like day one. Since like school times, I like used to do Java. So that time, like, after coming to college, I was like, okay, I really, really want to do systems. So I learned C++ and I started contributing to this organization. It was called 𝗼𝗺. It was basically a C++ operating system, more like a project that was just building for really, really like not powerful computers, like really, really low specifications. So I learned a lot of file systems dev and C++. So I was very much in systems. On the side, I also did freelance for web development. So I was also a Web2 developer for Next.js and, the normal MERN stack Next.js thing. I actually did watch a lot of your videos. So I used to like watch them and used to like go learn new stuff and sort of do it. But I was like a Web2 developer. I've built a few projects, two, three in C++, one or two in cryptography. And then sort of from there, then I jumped to, Ethereum dev. And in the meantime, some hackathons here and there as well. One in my university, one like, in the nearby universities. And then my third hackathon was Ethereum India.
Very interesting. So you guys met for the first time, like from ETH India to, your Pranay telling you about all the MPC stuff that, Crew is working on. So was this just around the previous Coliseum hackathon? Like,
Yes.
could you talk about like what was your thought process when you were, competing for the hackathon?
Like this, I think when Crew and me and Pranay had the call, it was I think like just before the Coliseum hackathon, I think one month around then. So that time when we had started out, we did not aim to build this out just as a hackathon product. It was never meant to be that at the start itself. We knew that this is a problem and it's going to be solved somehow or the other. So from day one itself, when we started building out, we had the thing that, okay, we want to build this as a product, we want to build this as a company, but we will also apply for like the Coliseum hackathon to gain traction and to, gain support basically. And at the time I did not know Solana Dev as well. So I started Solana Dev just after Crew had mentioned like this. So even my experience in Solana was like really, really low. So I just started Anchor at the time. So when we submitted to Coliseum as well, I'm pretty sure my code was a bit shaky as well. Now it's gotten a lot better since it's like 6-7 months. But yeah, at the time it was like slow dev, and then we sort of just built out like around a month of this. We focus a lot on our front end as well. So we wanted to make it super seamless, and that's sort of like an idea we've gone with now as well. So we've always focused on, backend code, smart program code should be really well written, but like our front end experience should be just as good. Like people should not know that they're interacting with like an encrypted application, but they should be using one. So that was sort of like when we started out, like, and how we approached Coliseum as like a hackathon itself.
Nice. I think, Cal, it's also worth talking about, what Umbra is and what Umbra does.
Right. So in short, basically, Umbra, what we're building at Umbra is the incognito mode for your Solana. So essentially, right now on the blockchain, everything is like it's basically a public ledger, right? You can sort of see everything that goes on the blockchain, and that's sort of why it is that way, since you need to verify like, transitions, you need to verify the state of the blockchain. So everything on the blockchain is public. So if I transfer, let's say to you, 10 Sol or, 1 Sol or whatever, everyone can sort of see that this address sent to this address and this much amount. Now, obviously addresses are pseudo, like, they're semi-anonymous, but in a lot of cases, you do get doxed, right? Like people do associate people's wallets because let's say we three have gone on like a lunch or something, okay? And one of us has paid and like the other two pay back or something like that. And now I have your addresses. So it's so easy. Now I have your addresses. I can like write a simple script that gives me whatever, like, whatever goes on behind the scenes or whatever you're doing on the Solana blockchain. And that's like a huge problem. So what we're building at Umbra is like your incognito mode where it hides all of your transaction. It hides all of your addresses. So essentially when you deposit into like Umbra, your Solana address is unlinked from another address. So you deposit into an Umbra address, but no one can see what Solana address deposited into it. Behind Umbra, when you transfer to another Umbra address, it's fully confidential. So no one can see the amount that was sent. So let's just say I sent 10 to you. No one would be able to see that it was 10 because it would be fully hidden, but it would still be like, done in this way where we use MPC. Now, the reason why we went with MPC is because it's obviously a lot more decentralized. The whole point is to remain decentralized and secure, right? So essentially what goes on is like a set of computers, each get random bits of data and they sort of add and subtract balances without knowing what they're doing. So it's like I'm computing something, but I don't know what I'm computing. But I'm giving you back a result and it's just adding and subtracting balances. So essentially that's what Umbra does. It hides your on-chain DeFi activity. As of now, we have done transfers. We're working on swaps and that should be out pretty soon. We're on the devnet right now and we will be launching to the mainnet soon. And we are built on top of another like infra company called Archeum, which provides us with MPC technology. On our side, we build zero knowledge proofs along with this MPC technology to give you like the best of both worlds. So it's like fast transactions without like the, cumbersome computations that go into ZK proofs. So it's like the best of two worlds.
Got it. So let's unpack. You said something very interesting, right? It's the incognito mode for your Solana transactions. So what does it mean? Is it like, is it a new wallet or is it something, a new mode that you can enable in any wallet?
Right. So it's like on Umbra, you get like a new address. So the thing is, like regular mixers, what they used to do is you deposit into a mixer, you withdraw into another, Solana address or like another wallet. But all of these are public balances. With Umbra, what happens is when you deposit into an Umbra address, you first deposit into the pool and that works like a regular mixer. But the interesting part is what happens when you claim out of this pool. When you claim out of this pool, essentially no one can see what you claimed as well. So it's like no one can see what amount was claimed and no one can see which address it went into. So which address it came from. So let's just say my Solana address is there. I have like, let's say so much in Sol or so much in USDC and I deposit this into a mixer pool. When I claim out of this mixer pool, no one will be able to know how much I claimed out of it or which Solana address it came out of as well. So it breaks your link between your Solana address and a confidential balance. Now, when you transfer between two confidential balances, it's just like, a hidden amount that transfers between two of these. We also have the feature of sending out of the pool. So you can send from an Umbra address to a Solana address and from a Solana address to an Umbra address. So we are working on integrations right now. And we do envision this, like how you mentioned, like a toggle mode that says send privately and it just sort of sends. So that's essentially what we're going for.
Got it. So wallets should technically be able to integrate with Umbra. So, whenever they want to transact privately, they can just do so via
Yes.
toggle.
I have a question. So how much of this is like on-chain? How much of this is off-chain? When I deposit to an Umbra address, what does it mean?
Okay, so when you deposit to an Umbra address, what first happens is like an instruction goes out that deposits into a pool and then it creates this thing called a commitment. We host all of this on-chain. So this Merkle tree, we build a Merkle tree of these commitments and this is stored on-chain. Your claim procedure is also stored on-chain, though a computation is sent out to an MPC cluster. So first what happens is a zero knowledge proof is verified and then a computation is sent to an MPC cluster. This MPC cluster, the nodes itself are running off-chain, but everything regarding scheduling, execution, all of that stuff is maintained on-chain and this is done by Archeum. So they host they have their own program which manages all the scheduling, execution layers and everything. So apart from the nodes that are actually calculating your amounts, everything else is on-chain. So your Merkle trees, your nullifiers, everything are stored on-chain. So the most of it is on-chain, just the nodes themselves, since they're not validators, they are MPC nodes themselves. Those are running off-chain, but everything about their execution is on-chain.
Makes sense. How big is your team now? Are you just starting to hire or, have you been, you're just the founders right now?
So right now our team size is 6. So we have three of us are developers and three of us are non-technical. So Crew is like our lead designer. He comes up with all our UI UX. Same along with Pranay. So both of them work on like UI UX operations, all of that stuff. We have one team member who's working from Spain. He manages all of our marketing, social media, Discord, all of that stuff. And there are three developers. As of now, I'm like the sole backend developer, and I manage all the cryptography, smart programs, SDKs, all of that stuff. While we also have two front-end developers. One of these developers also aids like a full stack developer basically. So all three of us know full stack development, Solana as well as Web2. But majority of the backend work is done by me, and our dev manages mobile devs like separately, and one manages like our web application and all of our like packages basically. So it's a team size of 6 right now. And like I had mentioned to you, we do plan on hiring. We are looking for like one or maybe, one or two devs, mostly relating to Solana programming, CIRCOM programming. So like CIRCOM is this language for ZK proofs. Like I'm sure a lot of people know about this one. So a lot of our ZK circuits are written in CIRCOM. So basically like we're looking for like a CIRCOM plus Rust dev, and that's sort of what we're going for. But it's a pretty small team. We all are like 5 of us are based in India, and one of us is like in Spain, and it's pretty like vibey, like a vibey team is all I can say.
Got it. Do you have like do you do Scrum planning, sprints? Do you have, I don't know, cycles of engineering when you're interviewing, or is it like pretty ad hoc right now?
So it's like right now during this ICO sprint and like getting to mainnet, it's more or less ad hoc at the moment. We did have this cycle of sprints during right after Coliseum. So we had one like monthly cycles of like this month we are going to accomplish this no matter how, and like that. But right now, since like we're going forward with audits and things like that, things are pretty ad hoc at the moment. Though we will be shifting back to sort of like a release cycle sort of situation pretty soon.
Awesome. So how do you envision the Umbra in the future, right? So is the goal to grow a standalone as the app itself, like the Umbra, the mobile app, or you're thinking about an API or a platform play where other wallets could integrate directly with you?
Like at the moment we're actually taking both the routes. So like we have an SDK that we're building in-house. So this SDK is like super easily integrable into other applications. So what they can do is interact with our smart program without understanding any of the technicalities that go into sending, transactions, building these, managing all the ZKs on client side. We basically are building out this SDK so that other teams can sort of use Umbra inside of their applications. So let's just say like a quick example would be if you're building out a store, right? So if you're building out a store on chain and you sort of need like a payments thing where you're paying using Solana addresses. So what you could do is you could integrate our SDK and make your payments private. So they could have like Umbra addresses that are paying, and it's all confidential payments. Apart from that, our mobile app will be always in dev. So we're planning on releasing new features and like new UI to make this like super seamless. So like, I'm pretty sure like if you had seen like the very early UI of Umbra and like how it's now, it's very, very different. That time we just had like boxes and stuff, but now it's gotten sort of like a much smoother experience, and we're hoping to increase this as time goes on. So our mobile application will also be our focus, but we will also be having our own SDK, which other teams can integrate into.
Awesome. Is there somewhere people can try the Umbra app today, or is it coming soon?
We have like an open beta going on right now, so you can sort of download our application and you can try out with DevNet Sol. We also have a faucet. We have like our own, fake mints on the DevNet sort of to mimic all of these other tokens so that you can sort of mimic how a USDC transfer would look. We also do have a web application. So if you go to our landing page right now, which is UmbraPrivacy.com, our landing page is the transfer page. So you can sort of deposit and transfer. Obviously, all of this is on DevNet right now since RKM is also on the DevNet, but we will be moving to mainnet soon. And that time the application will be out for everyone to use as well.
Interesting. Since it's also a wallet, right? How do you plan to work with like wallet adapters so that you could connect it to any dApp, or that is number one. The number two is, since it's also either you're operating on top of the confidential SPL tokens from RKM or whatever MPC primitives that they provide. I wonder how it would work with any third party app you would connect to. Because today, for example, when you connect Phantom or Backpack to a third party app, it j- it can the expectation for an user experience it is a certain thing, right? Versus when you're connecting it via an incognito mode, then the expectation is different. But then in order to ensure that both work similarly, the internal plumbings are very different. So have you guys thought about, or is or is that like a problem way down the future and you don't worry about it now?
Like as of right now, there's a small distinction. Right now, we are not yet a full wallet. We like as of now, we are not a wallet. You cannot generate a key pair using the Umbra app. Like other wallets, you could generate like a key pair and everything, right? For a Solana wallet, you cannot generate one using Umbra right now. You connect another wallet. So right now, we are a
Got
payment.
it.
So as of now, we haven't like gone and thought too much about how we're going to change into a wallet if we go down that route. But as of now, we are like a payments app, like sort of like Venmo or like Google Pay, basically. You would not generate a key pair using us. You would connect an existing wallet already. So you would have your Phantom Soulflare, and then you'd connect to Umbra using that.
Got it. I have one last question.
Yeah.
Did you guys expect to raise what was exactly going through the team's mind when you saw that you guys were trying to raise 750K? From 750 it went to 1, and then it went to 3, and then it went to 10. I remember
Yeah.
chatting with crew on the day of the ICO. It went all the way to 10, and then from 10 it went to 20 and all the way to 150 by the time you guys
Yeah.
stopped.
Honestly,
So what was going through your mind? What was it like?
honestly, like I'll be very honest over this one. We were at Apex, right? And we were downstairs in the lobby, and like our race had just started. And when we logged on to like the website to see what's happening, the website had crashed, and we were like, okay, something's like up. And then we sort of like opened it like after 10 minutes, okay? Like we were just trying to reload for like 10 minutes, thinking, oh shit, what's happened? But then after 10 minutes, when we loaded it, the green bar just went like in like super fast, like and in like 10 minutes it was hitting 2 mil, and we were like, what is even happening, right? None of us had really expected it, because like me, Pranay, crew, and all, like we had like these sort of like fun bets saying, in 4 days we'll raise this much, and we were like, we had bets ki after 2.5 days maybe we'll reach 500K, or maybe we'll reach 600K, and then we saw it all go in like 2-3 minutes, and we were like blown up. And then even like when we came back to like when we were in like Mumbai during the time when we came back to campus, since we were like we flew back to our university the next day, and like every day we're sort of reloading it, and it's like going up by numbers. But no, we definitely did not expect that. The like our plan for our ICO was set pretty early on, that if we did raise it, we were going to cap it at this much no matter what, which is why we actually did cap it at the same amount. That decision had not changed throughout, but seeing the numbers climb was quite fun. I can't lie about
Awesome.
that. It was pretty like
And also, it's probably this is probably the only possible on crypto and on the internet capital market rails, right? Imagine building the same product, going to Y Combinator or going to one of those accelerators and going through the ringer where but it's going to be while before you see anything like that. So
that's
it's
what that's what
definitely a wild
yes,
experience and also
yeah,
shows what really is possible if you're working on the right set of problem statements with right intentions.
exactly. So that's pretty cool. Like the community support like has been quite like it's been pretty good for the team. Like all of our like motivations, productivity is, there's always that small factor of linkage that people like what you're building, so it sort of gives you that push key. Okay, let me push that one extra feature before going to sleep. So it's always really nice to see like all the support that we reached, like we got on Solana, and I hope we keep getting this as we go on to the future.
Awesome.
Amazing. On that note, Cal, thank you so much for joining, and congratulations again
Thank
on
you.
this. All the best for the
Thank you.
product,
Yeah.
all the best for the hiring, and
Thank you so much once again for joining us, Cal, and congratulations and all the best. Just like not, there is a lot more to
Yes, there's definitely
see
a lot.
from here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
And
you for
thank you
having
for
me.
raising the bar.
Thank you. Thank you for
Awesome.
such kind words. Thank you for having me. It was very, very nice.